Everybody, Rich with Prep View down here in the bunker today. Hey, by now, everybody knows that the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals, a single judge, has put a stay on the injunction put by the Seventh Circuit down in East St. Louis, Illinois. Um, and, it was, I can't even read my own notes. This is terrible. So, anyhow, this was a stay put on by Judge Easterbrook and gave the plaintiffs until the close of business on May 9th, 2023, to submit a brief on why the injunction should go forward, or not issue a permanent stay until the case is heard by a higher court. So that was done by Judge Easterbrook after Judge McGlynn put the statewide injunction, and that held on for a few days, which brings up another conundrum, which we're going to talk about at the end of this video, something you should definitely stick around to hear this, especially if you purchased any of the banned rifles, pistols, magazines, lowers, and stuff like that. Stay tuned. There's a little bit of a twist that you might want to think about here. But remember, the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals is a 3-judge panel, and only one judge put the stay on the injunction. So the whole Court of Appeals has to get together and decide on this. This is one reason why it's on again, off again, on again, off again. And you can do that because one judge can do that. We've seen this all over the country with all kinds of things, firearms and different items, that one judge can throw a monkey wrench into everything. So remember, they have to get together, and that's why Judge Easterbrook asked for to submit this brief, which they're working very hard to get in this brief together on why the injunction should stay, which will be presented to him and the other 2 judges. I'm not sure who the other 2 judges are in the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals, but that is coming forward, probably on the 9th, after the 9th, whenever they meet. So, but this has Supreme Court traveling orders. Let's face it. Matter of fact, there are some that have accused Judge Easterbrook of not following the Supreme Court rules, which he has to directly do that based on Supreme Court cases and what Judge McGlynn put in his injunction, stating and talking about what came out in certain cases. The big one is, New York State Rifle Association versus Brune, and then of course there's Heller and there's McDonald and stuff like that. That he quoted, but Easterbrook just like, yeah, whatever. We're not going to go through with this. So that's coming forward, and as this is going to end up in the Supreme Court. And as a matter of fact, the Supreme Court Justice who is in charge of the Seventh Circuit, Amy Coney Barrett, has already come forward, and she wants the defendants in the Naperville case to explain to her how a state or a locale can put their own ban on a semi-automatic weapon. So she is tuned in to the Naperville store case and the city of Naperville case. She's very tuned into that right now. And she's also asking, why the law does not violate the Second Amendment to the city. All right. And the defendant has till May 8th, which is the city of Naperville, to tell her why they can do this. So, and she's basically said in her hearings to become a Supreme Court justice that she was very pro Second Amendment. So this is getting very interesting. So we already have that tie with these cases with the Supreme Court. If you were interested, once the injunction went forward and all the firearm stores started, we did send out emails to everybody saying, come on in, it's an injunction, you can buy and you get also. It was nuts. We sold at Range USA. I think there were 1,200 uh, previously banned firearms and lowers uh, within a 24 to 48-hour period. Um, and a lot of people picked it up the next week before the stay of the injunction went into effect. So it was really crazy. Now think about this for those of you that bought this. This is what I wanted you to hang on for. So technically, the law, if it is upheld, says that you could have these banned rifles and pistols. You can keep them if you own them before 1/1/23. Now, you have to register starting October 1st, and everything has to be registered by 1/1/24. So, what happens, okay, to those of you that purchased during this 5-day period here or in April? April. Those aren't technically legal be purchased if PICA goes through. Okay, if PICA is demolished in the Supreme Court, there's no worry. If the injunction comes back on, it's going to increase the amount of people before it goes to the Supreme Court that will have rifles and pistols and lowers that are technically against the PICA law. All right. So it's going to be very interesting for those of you that have purchased this stuff during that 5 days that you were able to, if you got in time and were able to pick it up within the 3 days and you have them at home, technically they're illegal right now since there's a stay, all right, of the injunction. What will the state do with that? They have made some indication that those firearms will be, I don't want to use the word confiscated, but one could assume that's what they're talking about and make those illegal. And it'd be very low hanging fruit for them to come after that because there really weren't that many people that purchased during that time period. And they have the records. So we'll just have to see. We'll have to see where this law ends up. We'll see what the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals, what the 3 judges decide on, if the injunction comes back on or not. And regardless of what happens, either part of the defendants or the plaintiffs are going to keep appealing this, and it's going to end up with the Supreme Court. I'm not an attorney. I don't play one on TV, and I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, so I really don't know what's going to happen. We'll just have to wait and see. So there you go. Y'all know way before you got this video that there was a stay on the injunction. Also, I didn't know if you knew about the Supreme Court connection and the likelihood that it's going to the Supreme Court, and the fact that 2 of the judges say, bring it to the Supreme Court. Not officially yet, but that's what they're saying. And of course, those of you that purchased anything during the injunction period, you're kind of in limbo. You have to see what happens with your rights and those items that you purchase. So that's it. That's the update that I have for you on PICA and the rifle, pistol, and magazine ban. I'll bring more to you when I find out more in the little tidbits that I hear along the way. So again, thanks a lot. Take care. See you next time.